This week, I tried learning one of the most powerful skills you can learn on the internet. The reason behind videos that go viral, small businesses that blow up overnight, and why certain people can make you watch a 10-minute video without even realizing it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lori, and I'm trying to learn something new every week to improve my life, my finances, and myself to see what actually makes a difference. And this week, I tried learning the art of storytelling. So lately, I'm realizing that I'm someone who's more of a listener. Like, I'm good at asking questions and hearing other people's stories, but when it comes to sharing my own, I struggle. And as someone who makes content, you can imagine how that might be a problem. I've always been in awe of people who can speak effortlessly while grabbing the audience's attention. And I wondered how they're able to do it. So I decided to see for myself. And what I learned was not what I was expecting. First, let's talk about the psychology of it. Have you ever wondered why some things you hear stick with you forever, while some things just don't? Well, I learned that psychology says we are more likely to remember stories than to remember facts. And this actually explains a lot. Now, all those times in school make sense when I would wonder why it was so hard for me to remember basic science terms, yet I could easily tell you the plot to any reality TV show, even after just watching it once. But I will say that this gives me a new perspective on how people receive information. Like, if you want people to remember what you're saying, try telling it to them in a story. So I started listening to this audiobook called Storyworthy, and here's 5 things it taught me about storytelling. Start your stories in the middle. So I'm used to writing stories like we did in school, where there's a beginning, middle, end, and that definitely gets boring. So instead of explaining everything first, start when something interesting happens. Now, let's talk about the 5-second moment. The author says every good story has a tiny moment where something changes. So it can literally be anything. The moment you realize something, the moment you changed what you did, something changes. Which leads me to my next point. Stories need transformation. So this book says that a story only works if something changes. So this could be your perspective, your behavior, your beliefs. And this next one is something we know and sometimes overlook. But specific details make stories memorable. Like, instead of saying, I was broke, you would say something more specific like, I only had $13 to my name. So this little detail makes your story feel real. But I have to say, the biggest takeaway from this book is a very simple one. It's that great stories aren't about big events. They're usually about small moments that reveal something meaningful about you. And now that I think about some conversations that I've had, the funniest and most memorable stories are usually about stupid little moments. So that's true. After learning all of that, I practiced storytelling with some friends. And I feel like I genuinely just need to practice talking about myself because that's the part that I struggle with the most. So I can't actually confirm that this improved how I talk, but I definitely did learn something new.